Black screen. Gradually, a whiteboard appears. In the corner, a clock reads 10:19 p.m. Sarah is sitting on the office floor, her back against the wall, shoes to the side. The laptop is open in front of her. A spreadsheet, a proposal, an unanswered email from a difficult client. She makes $42,000 a month. She has a team of 6 people. From the outside, everything seems to work. She can't remember the last time she slept 8 hours. It's not an exaggeration. It's a fact. She checked her sleep app on her phone last week, the average for the last 90 days, 5 hours and 20 minutes per night. A calculator appears drawn on the whiteboard. Not calculating money, calculating something else. Most videos about entrepreneurship talk about what you earn at each level. Revenue, margin, growth, exit multiple. These conversations are important, but there's a conversation that almost no one has. What each level charges you. Not in dollars, not in what doesn't appear in any financial report. My name is Jack, and I spend a lot of time thinking about why so many entrepreneurs reach the top, financially feeling like they've missed something they can't quite name. If you've ever found yourself wondering if it's all worth it, unable to finish the sentence, subscribe to the channel, because this video is exactly about that. Before we begin, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. And I'm not here to tell you whether entrepreneurship is good or bad. I'm here to show you the true cost of each step, because nobody should have to pay a bill without knowing its value beforehand. A staircase appears on the whiteboard, 7 steps. To the left of each step, a dollar sign. To the right, a different symbol, a clock, a heart, a small human figure, a face. The entire staircase has 2 sides. Everyone sees the left side. Almost no one talks about the right. Level 1, the survivor. The visible price is low. Revenue barely covers expenses, but the invisible price of level 1 isn't financial. It's identity related. A figure appears on the whiteboard holding a sign with their name underneath and a question mark above. When the business isn't yet successful, the question that arises isn't what needs to improve in the business. The question that arises is, what's wrong with me? The entrepreneur at level 1 mixes results with personal value in a way that's almost impossible to separate. A bad month isn't just a bad month. It's evidence that the decision to become an entrepreneur was a mistake, that they don't have what it takes, that everyone who doubted them was right. The psychological mechanism has a name: cognitive fusion. The person merges with the business's results to the point of no longer being able to see the two as separate things. Data from the American Psychological Association shows that entrepreneurs have significantly higher rates of anxiety and depression than the general population, peaking in the first 2 years of operation. Level 1 demands identity, and identity is the most difficult resource to recover after you're gone. Level 2. The freelancer disguised as a business. Revenue has stabilized, bills are paid, sometimes there's even a surplus. The visible price has fallen. The invisible price has risen. Marcus shows up. He works Monday to Saturday, sometimes Sunday. Not because he's disorganized, because the model demands it. Each client he has is a personal relationship. Each delivery passes through his hands. Each problem arrives on his cell phone. A line appears connecting Marcus to every part of the business. The line is not a metaphor, it's physical. It exists in the cell phone that never turns off, in the email he opens at 11 o'clock at night, in the inability to sit down at dinner with his family without checking notifications. The price of level 2 is called presence, not physical absence, mental presence. His body is at dinner. His mind is on the client who didn't reply to the email. It's on the proposal that needs to be delivered tomorrow. It's on the employee who made a mistake this week. Harvard research on well-being and attention has shown that the human mind wanders out of the present moment 47% of the time, and that this state is consistently associated with lower happiness, regardless of the activity the person is doing. Level 2 doesn't steal your time. It steals your attention. And attention is the only currency that cannot be recovered, reinvested, or refinanced. Level 3. The system builder. Here, the entrepreneur begins to relinquish operational control. Hires, delegates, documents. It seems like progress. It is progress. But the invisible price of level 3 is one of the most underestimated on the ladder. It's called silent grief. Sarah reappears. She spent 3 years being the one who did everything. The client called her. The product came out of her hands. The feedback arrived directly to her. She knew when things were going well because she felt it. Now she has a team, the processes work, and she no longer knows exactly what's happening in real time. A veil appears drawn on the whiteboard between Sarah and the business, transparent but present. The entrepreneur at level 3 loses direct contact with the work that gave them meaning. And this grief is rarely recognized because from the outside it looks like growth. It looks like maturity. It looks like it worked. Inside, there's a difficult-to-name feeling that the business is functioning, but something has gone with it. That something has a name, operational purpose. The reason why it started. The solution isn't to go back to operating. It's about finding new meaning in the role of builder instead of executor. But this requires an emotional transition that no one teaches in scaling courses. Level 4. The strategist. Consistent revenue. Team running smoothly. Systems functioning. The entrepreneur has finally arrived at the place he envisioned from the beginning. Free time. Space to think. Travel. Controlled schedule. It's exactly what it seems, and the invisible price of level 4 is precisely that. Marcus appears sitting in a comfortable chair. Laptop closed. Empty schedule. And an expression that is not peace. It's disorientation. Human beings were not built for the absence of problems. They were built to solve problems that matter. When the entrepreneur removes the operational urgency from his life without replacing it with a mission of equivalent scale, what appears is not happiness. It's emptiness. A study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology showed that the feeling of purpose is the most consistent predictor of well-being over time, more than pleasure, more than achievement, more than social relationships in isolation. Level 4 demands purpose, because the purpose that brought the entrepreneur this far was to build. And when the construction ends without a next construction site, the architect doesn't know what to do with his own hands. Level 5. The architect. Actively building a business. The business is worth real money on the market. Exit decisions begin to appear on the table. And with them comes the most paradoxical, invisible price of the entire ladder. Sarah receives an acquisition offer. A large number in the proposal. She should be celebrating, and part of her is. But another part freezes. Because selling the business is not just a financial transaction. It's the end of an identity that took years to build. A figure appears on the whiteboard. On her left, a company with a name, logo, team, clients, history. On the right, money in the bank. A transition arrow in the middle. What seems simple on paper is one of the most complex psychological transitions in an entrepreneur's life. Research with post-acquisition founders shows surprisingly high rates of depression and disorientation in the 12 to 24 months following the sale, even when the sale was an objective financial success. Level 5 demands identity again, but this time on a larger scale. Because the identity that was built over 5, 10, 15 years of a business has nowhere to go after the signing. And nobody warned you it would be like this. Level 6. The operational investor. Business portfolio, growing passive income. The entrepreneur has become a capital allocator, meetings with founders, portfolio decisions, influence without operation. The invisible price of level 6 is the quietest of all. It's called consequence distance. A figure appears making a decision in a meeting room. An arrow shoots from the decision and goes far, far, far away, until it reaches a group of tiny people who barely appear on the screen. Marcus appears as one of the founders who received capital and a strategic guideline that didn't make sense for his market, but that the investor approved because it seemed right from above. When you operate, you feel the mistake immediately. The client complains, the sale doesn't close, the product is returned, the feedback is immediate, painful, and real. When you allocate capital, the distance between decision and consequence can be months or years, and in that interval, it's easy to lose calibration, to lose the real sense of what works and what doesn't. The entrepreneur at level 6 risks becoming competent in appearing strategic and progressively less competent in being right. The price is epistemological humility, the ability to know what you don't know, And it fades slowly, without warning, while the bank account continues to grow. Level 7. The ecosystem builder. $10 million or more in assets, influence over entire markets. His name comes up at conferences. Journalists call. Other entrepreneurs ask for advice. And the invisible price of level 7 is the most human of all. It's called summit loneliness. Sarah appears in a room full of people. Everyone smiling at her. Everyone wanting something from her. Capital, advice, connection, validation. She is surrounded by people and completely alone. A bubble appears drawn around her, transparent. People get close but don't enter. They can't enter because her context has become incomprehensible to those who haven't lived the same trajectory. She can't complain to her family because it seems ungrateful. She can't be vulnerable with partners because it's weakness. She can't show doubt to the team because it undermines trust. Research with CEOs of companies with over $50 million in revenue shows that loneliness and isolation are the most recurring complaints when the environment is one of real confidentiality. Not a lack of friends, a lack of equals. There's a lack of someone who understands the specific weight of the decisions that arrive every day without a manual. Level 7 demands authentic connection, and authentic connection is the resource that becomes most scarce the higher you climb. The entire staircase appears on the whiteboard, 7 steps. On the left, the financial numbers are growing. On the right, the invisible prices are stacked one on top of the other. Identity, attention, operational purpose, purpose of scale, identity again on a higher level, epistemic humility, authentic connection. No one showed you this list when you decided to start your own business. And the problem isn't that these prices exist. All growth comes at a cost. The problem is paying without knowing you're paying. Because an invisible price, not consciously collected, becomes accumulated emotional debt. And accumulated emotional debt appears in ways that don't seem related. Relationships that fall apart. Health that fades without obvious explanation. A persistent feeling that something is wrong even when everything is right according to the numbers. 2 entrepreneurs appear on the whiteboard, starting from the same point. Same income, same level, same pressure. One of them never looked to the right of the ladder. He got further financially for a few years, then he stopped without understanding why. The other learned to name the price of each step before climbing. Not to avoid paying, you always pay, but to pay consciously, to protect what matters. To not wake up at a high level of the ladder, looking to the side and realizing that he left behind exactly what he was trying to protect when he started. Sarah closes her laptop. It's 10:19 p.m. She looks at her shoes on the floor, thinks for a second, puts her shoes back on, stands up, turns off the office light. She has an early meeting tomorrow. She's going, but she's going knowing what the salary is demanding and what she's not willing to pay. Knowing where you are is the first step. Knowing what you're paying for to be there is a different conversation. And it's difficult to have that conversation alone with just one video.